everybody.
Welcome
live.
to Nashville.
And we're actually really live. There's a bunch of people here.
Yeah.
Make some noise.
In front of a
live
studio audience. I feel like this has become a legit daytime talk show.
I know. It would only be better if we were faced the other way so they could actually be in the background.
No cars will be given away, but we do have giveaways.
We do have a lot of giveaways. Unfortunately, you people watching on your internet connection can't win the giveaways. You have to be here.
Oh, yeah.
But if you don't know what's going on, because this is on our main YouTube feed, this is a first annual Patreon summit. So basically, you can go over to patreon.com/bourbanoff.
Something like that.
And if you're one of our patrons, well, you get a lot of stuff. But one of the things we're offering now
there's a link
is
right down there.
There's a link.
Yeah.
Is once a year we're going to do these Patreon summits. And what do you guys think? Are you having fun?
So far, so good.
Yeah.
Dude.
We've had a great morning, and Briggs is here. She's teaching us about spoon carving, and she's actually right. Am I going to mess things up?
Probably, but it's gonna get lost. There she is.
Right there. She's over there carving spoons. She's going to teach us about power tools later. Hand tools.
Power hand tools. And goats. She tried to talk me out of my love for goats. I love goats. I'm not afraid to say that I love goats. She said, I could talk you out of that. And I said, no. That was our conversation. I think that's all we had.
Goats do taste good. Did you know that goat is the #1 consumed meat in the whole world? Yeah. So if you haven't had goat, get on trend. That started in Oregon, the yoga goat thing.
It did. Corvallis.
By accident.
Right?
Yeah. There
Wasn't
was
it
a lady
our friend
who taught yoga. And we knew that lady.
We knew the lady.
And
then it became a huge trend.
Did you ever do the goat yoga?
I never did goat yoga.
Okay.
No.
I've never done yoga.
I do think I do. I have an unrealistic love of goats. But every time I go to the state fair, beeline right for the goat pen and do a little scratchy scratch right on the
He's been kicked out of the state fair a lot.
Yeah. It's weird. They won't let me inside the pens.
So we're going to do this like a normal YouTube live. So you guys can ask questions there and we'll answer them. People here in the studio audience can also ask questions and we'll answer those. We're going to do a lot of giveaways for the people here. And if you are sitting at home and you're like, man, this sucks, I want to be there, we'll come next year because we're going to do it again.
Absolutely.
But you got to be a patron.
Got to be a patron.
And it's pretty fun being a patron.
What are we
just saying? What are we going to give away? Okay, Bits and Bits. We all like that company. They give us a lot of cool stuff to give away. Some of these, if you've ever been on the Bits and Bits website, you know these are freaking expensive.
And this is the new Astra coded HP.
HD.
D.
Yeah.
HP.
For Home Depot. This is a 1/2-inch compression flush trim bit. I use this one all the time. Look how beautiful that thing is.
Show it off in the
yeah. Look at that thing. Thanks, Bits and Bits. So we're going to give this away to 019. 01. Oh,
hey, Joe!
Come on down there. Awesome.
Enjoy.
Also, Duluth gave us some gift cards to give away.
We'll start with
one of those.
Start with one of the small ones.
The small one.
The small one.
For $250. What? Duluth, and that's a small one from Duluth.
Hey, Duluth hooked it up.
Gift card. That goes to 015. Hey!
There we go.
Come on down.
Come on down.
Rick. Absolutely.
We have something that did not show up, but we can still raffle it off. Give it away. Even though it's not here.
What is it?
IsoTunes, of course, our friends at IsoTunes hooking us up with a nice pair of free 2.0s.
Oh, and they will ship them.
Well, they were going to be here, but
weather.
It's literally ice outside in Nashville.
Like everywhere in America.
Yeah. Free 2.0s goes to
045.
045.
Hey, Sofiane.
He's coming up to get my cell phone.
Crap, I put the thing back in there.
Oh, no. You might win twice.
No, yes. 045. I found it.
Thanks, okay. IsoTunes.
Yeah.
And
we have nothing to actually give you.
Yeah.
Because they're not here, but remind Craig and they'll be mailed to you. All right. Do we have any questions?
All right. Questions. Nope, none from the room.
Nobody in the room has any questions?
No, man.
Yes. Aqualung?
Can you play Aqualung on the tin whistle? Was the question.
No, probably not. I'm really... Well, I'm just really bad with requests. Was that close?
Jason's real good at Christmas songs. If you have any Christmas songs you'd like Jason to play, we can do. Okay.
No? Okay. I'm sorry.
Tiny Sean Swift, who could not be here today.
Oh.
He asked how much plaid is in the room.
Moment of silence for Tiny Sean.
If you're wearing plaid, stand up. We got 1.
That's not that many.
3, 4. Yeah, 4. That's not 5.
It's not bad.
6.
We're also indoors. Wait till we walk outside.
Yeah.
I bet the plaid will increase quite a bit.
The plaid to t-shirt ratio.
This is really fun. We did a breakfast this morning, and Anne's been here doing her stuff. And then when we're all done with this, we're all going to go on a distillery tour, which will be pretty fun. What distillery are we going to?
We are going to Pennington Distillery.
Oh, cool.
It was like one of the ones that could handle a large group. So
nice.
Here we go.
All right, we'll let you know how it is.
All right. Melissa would like to know, why does plywood from Home Depot stink?
Ooh.
Like I think maybe both. Like it smells bad and it's just not good.
Well,
what's your opinion on that?
I mean, are you asking like you want us to tell you why it stinks, or you acknowledge that it stinks and you just want us to commiserate with you on why it stinks?
Let's just say both to yes to both.
Okay. Well, the reason that Home Depot plywood stinks is because any big box store, they're all about making money, right? So they're going to get things at the cheapest possible price. And everybody's driven down the freeway, and you see these trucks constantly like hauling wood to Home Depot because they go through it so quick. And all those trucks are completely uncovered. And in Oregon, I always see them driving to Home Depot, and they're just soaking wet in the pouring down rain. So the wood gets there, and it's wet. And like Ann was talking about with wood movement, that can happen even if wood's dried out, and then you rehydrate the wood. Well, it kind of starts all over again. So if you don't keep your wood dry, then it dries out, and it forms into potato chip like all the stuff at Home Depot. And then they're doing it so fast, they don't care about filling voids. Like if you buy Baltic birch, you get really nice veneered layers. And if there are voids, they take the time to fill them all. So if you cut the plywood in half and you look at the edge of it, you're not going to see any holes in it. But at Home Depot, I've cut plywood in half, and I've seen like a 20-inch long void in the side of the plywood.
Like found a raccoon inside.
Yeah.
Yeah. Like, oh my gosh. There's a raccoon inside my
So you get
plywood.
what you pay for. There's definitely
no wonder it smells so bad.
There's reasons to buy plywood at Home Depot for certain projects.
Oh yeah,
but you're not going to want to build like fine cabinetry out of it. Yeah.
Yeah.
So
okay. So put to rest
for a miter
Home
bench
Depot.
For Sean McDonald, because
oh my gosh,
he thinks that's a good lumber store.
So you may or may not have watched the video where we flew out to Massachusetts and did the build with one of our patrons, Sean. He's here, and so we just have to fling him a little crap because
before we got there, I was like, "Is there a place to buy wood?" And he's like, "There's a great local wood store.
There's lots of local stuff
right down the road,
no problem."
And we get there, and the local wood store is the big orange building that says Home Depot on the front. It was great.
How's those drawer boxes holding up? Have the drawer boxes fallen apart yet?
Everything's still intact, though. Yeah.
Yeah, still works. Oh, I forgot. We built it for Lori, not Sean.
That's true.
Yeah.
We did build it for Lori.
Yeah. Okay. We have another question from Cobble Customs. He has a table router that isn't so great. It's a Craftsman. Can he convert it to a plunge router?
Wait.
Got a table router.
A table router or a router table?
Table router. That's what he says.
Like a fixed base router?
I don't know. I'm just reading the question.
And
don't ask me.
Table router.
I think it's a router table. Router table. Table router.
On that whole router table?
Take the router out. And then put a plunge base.
Take the router out of the table. Put a plunge base.
You would have to get a plunge base for that router.
Would fit that router.
Okay.
Yeah, I don't think Craftsman exists anymore.
Okay.
Right?
There's another person named Craig in this room that said it's.
They don't even make it anymore. Have a hard time finding a plunge base to fit the router, unless it's not a craft. But of course, it's gonna be a Craftsman router and a Craftsman router. Just go buy a new router.
Why is Fantine on here?
Fantine, are you on the actual live stream? Why don't you ask questions directly?
Yeah. It's very intimidating.
Yeah. Wow.
Why did we choose Tennessee? I don't know. Actually, you know who takes credit for this? Pam. Pam, where are you?
Pain in the ass, Pam.
Yeah.
Yeah.
She said I was the one that recommended Nashville. Pam, why'd you choose Nashville?
Yeah.
They were supposed to be warm.
Yeah. Pam is so old and feeble, it's hard for her to travel.
She's not even from here.
And so we were like, we got to bring it to Pam, right?
Yeah, this is what you get when you show up to these things. Love you, Pam.
We picked Nashville because
we thought central.
We thought it would be warmer, and we thought it would be central. We've already said next year we got to go to like Phoenix or Florida or someplace warm because you just can't. Austin,
Cabo.
You can't count on Tennessee to be warm in the January months.
Yeah,
we almost didn't make it down here. So we were supposed to fly in on Thursday. Our flight from Portland was canceled because there was ice storm there, and also one of their plane's doors flew off. It was a whole big thing.
It's a big thing. Yeah.
So then we had to end up renting a car and driving to Seattle in order to get here. When we were in Seattle, we were waiting to get on our plane, and this guy almost beat Craig up.
That was the weirdest thing. We're just standing there in a little circle, like talking, waiting for, and then all of a sudden this guy comes barreling in, barging into our group, and he's just smiling at me.
Yeah, first I thought he knew Craig, like he was an old friend.
And
I
was like, "Hi," and then he turned,
and he was all happy, and he was like, "Hey man, what's up?" And I was like, "This is
weird."
He's
like,
no, and then there was just like a switch, and he's like, "You better watch your mouth, I'm gonna," and he cussed a bunch, and
then so I hid behind the strongest person in the group,
my wife.
We both hid behind our wives, which our wives are here today.
Yeah. Hi, wives.
Is your wife here? Did she leave? She probably was.
Well, and he was holding this plate of food, and I tried to de-escalate it, and I was like, "That food looks pretty good, man. Where'd you get it?" And he's like, "Oh, shut up."
Yeah, you look the other way, and then obviously he does what any other intoxicated person does. He goes back to his seat, and then he just dumps his food on the floor and walks away
upside down. He called the stewardess a bad word. They didn't let him on the plane.
I got a free drink out of the deal.
Yeah, because of how you handled the situation. They gave him free drinks.
Apparently, if you come at me with threats, I will put up no fight.
Basically Gandhi.
Yep. Hey, we got one more giveaway.
Okay. We got a lot more than one more giveaway.
No, but we got another fairly large giveaway. You can get this piece of paper. This is what you get. 2
tubes of Thixo Fast Cure.
Because
1
it's thick,
quart
yo.
of tabletop epoxy. Okay.
I mean,
some 4-minute epoxy.
All right.
A bag of Total Boat Halcyon and a Total Boat hat. So this will all be shipped to your door from our friends over at Total Boat.
Thank you, Total Boat.
Total Boat, baby. And the winner of that is 012. All right, Wes. Let's go. Here.
Come get your paper.
Yeah, just connect with Craig and he'll get that shipped to your door.
Do you use epoxy? It's a trick question.
Hey, there are other uses for epoxy other than pouring it on a table. Just saying. Let's give another. We got a 1/4 inch, half inch compact flush. Wait, it's a 1/4 inch shank.
6'2" and
but
a
it's
compact.
A 1/2 inch flush trim bit. This is a really nice one because it's got top and bottom bearings. So you got options there. Also the Astra coated HD, and that's gonna go to 053. Hey, Danielle!
Oh, Danielle!
Let's go. I would throw this, but it's actually heavier than it looks. Don't want to whack you in the face. Congratulations.
All right.
We got any more questions?
Yeah, man. Grant. Oh, we got one from the room, ladies and gentlemen. Chris.
Would you batch those by size, or how would you batch those out?
50 drawers in 3 different sizes. How would you go about building them?
Like 10, 15, and whatever the remainder of that.
Yeah, I would batch them out per their size. It's funny because we kind of just did this for these built-ins that we're doing for the walk-in closet. It's crazy. We realized there's more drawers and cabinet doors in these 2 closets we're building than in my entire kitchen, which is stupid. Like, I'm never going to have enough clothes to fill all those drawers.
No, I'm going to bring some of my clothes over.
Yeah, I told Craig, I was like, if you need a place to store your winter clothes, just bring them over to my closet.
I thought you said underwear. Sorry.
I changed it here because it's I didn't want to say that.
Okay.
Anyways, yeah, I would batch them out per size probably. So are you using like undermount drawer slides? Yeah. So, I mean, all your side lengths are going to be determined by the size of your drawer slides. So I would cut all of those pieces. And then in designing the cabinets, I always try and do it the simplest way possible. So for these ones in the closet, I designed it in a way that they're all the same height so that I can basically cut all the pieces exactly the same and make them all the same. Because if you start switching around to a bunch of different sizes, it obviously gets more complicated. But yeah, I would just batch them out, cut all your pieces to length. I like to pre-sand them all before I assemble them because that makes it a lot easier. Are you doing like what kind of drawer construction are you doing?
Just, I'm probably gonna down pin them.
Okay.
You know, with like half rabbits on the sides. There's a bunch in the kitchen. They're all the same size.
Yeah.
And then there's a bunch in this. It's like a weird 70s house, and there's this sliding front door.
I know a lot about weird 70s houses as of lately. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
But in the bedroom, there's these sliding doors with shelves there. They want the shelves taken out and replaced with drawers.
Okay.
Leave the look of the sliding doors, or doors.
Mm.
Become the drawer fronts.
Oh, that's kind of cool.
Yeah, it'll be interesting.
Yeah.
I mean, they're plywood, so.
Yeah, just batch them out. The key with doing a lot of drawers like that is just stay organized and keep everything like in its own piles because it's really easy to mix all that stuff up. And then you can accidentally put together the wrong size drawers, and then you get them up in there, and you're like, ah.
I'm not saying I did that by job.
Yeah. Well, I made a mistake. I don't know if it's going to be on the video that's coming out this next Saturday, but I made all the cabinet doors for this closet thing, and all the sizes fit perfectly, except for the two that didn't. Somehow I didn't account for something, and I made both of these cabinet doors, I think 3 inches too wide. But I didn't discover this until they were all completely glued up, like mortise and tenon and everything. So I had to deconstruct it, and then with the panel in there, I had to cut new tenons onto the rails, which was kind of tricky because the panel was already glued in. And then I had to re-dado out the style on the side to fit it on. It was this whole thing. It was a real pain in the butt, but I got it done.
Zach, are you going to show that in the video?
I don't know. The video's already going to be really long.
Okay. John, looks like John's got a question.
Yeah, shaker style doors. That's all you ever do. Is there any?
I'm a one-trick pony.
He says shaker style doors. That's all you ever do.
That's all I ever do.
I'm always looking, want to try to find like something more modern.
Yeah.
And I can't find anything like that.
So-
Or something. Thoughts on
John's looking for a
materials.
modern
Are you thinking like paint grade
door
or
style.
paint?
And yeah, basically I'm in plywood right now. But
So when you say I mean, when I think like modern doors, most modern doors are just flat panel at this point.
yeah.
Or you like more
is
like
there a reason
fancy?
why is it because of weight?
I just think it's all style, based. I do lots of shaker style doors because that's what my wife likes. So
So there's nothing wrong with just cutting a slab.
no, I mean, the trick you run into when you start doing flat panel stuff is, again, wood movement. Like if you were to glue up a bunch of boards just in a big flat panel, depending on how those are oriented, there's a really good chance that over time that door is going to start to warp a little bit, kind of like a potato chip. So there's some things you can do to counteract that a little bit. So instead of taking like if you had 2 boards that just happen to be like wide enough that you could get away with just gluing those 2 boards together, and that gives you the shape of your door, that's much more likely to warp than, let's say, if you were to take a bunch of little strips and glue up like 1.5 inch wide strips to get that same width, because you can kind of play with alternating the growth pattern and everything. Wide, like standalone boards are going to want to warp more. So if you go into like a 90s kitchen, flat panel doors are really popular, and you look at the door, you'll realize that lots of times they're glued up strips versus just wide, solid pieces of wood.
Also, if you think you're going to avoid the wood movement by using plywood or MDF, take it from a guy who bought a house a while ago when they did that. It'll still work.
Yeah.
The exposed plywood edges will take on water if there is a small child.
Yeah, that's why.
Or you're doing anything that hits it all.
Yeah, somebody was saying that you can't avoid warping by just using plywood or MDF, which is true. they will move. MDF, you're a lot less likely for it to move than plywood. If you get cheap MDF, it could disintegrate. Everyone's like, oh, MDF, like if it gets any water exposure, it's horrible. That is true for really low quality MDF. But if you go to like a cabinet supply store, you can get really high density MDF that's super heavy. And as long as it's painted, I mean, it would have to get a lot of water exposure for it to have any issues. So if I was going to do solid panel doors, I would probably just use MDF, to be completely honest. But there's a reason that shaker style doors are so popular. It's not just looks, it's the way that they're constructed. It's really easy to make a door and make sure that it doesn't move just the way that it is put together, whether that's just a flat panel shaker style or a raised panel in the middle. So
sweet. We got a couple questions on Patreon from Grant Rodkey.
Grant Rodkey.
He said he misremembers your advice on patching holes and cracks on a cedar surface. He tried mixing wood filler instead of your recommended epoxy with the cedar dust and the coffee grinder deal that we did.
Oh, yeah.
So, but he just used wood filler. Now there's a discrepancy between the cedar and kind of the tan wood blondie wood filler. Any advice on how to maybe make that blend a little more now that it's in there?
For large cracks, I just don't think wood filler is ever going to be a good option. I mean, wood filler, it is just a filler. So if you have a large crack, that crack's going to continue to move over time. And the wood filler is not an adhesive. It's not a glue. So as that crack moves, there's going to be separation between the wood filler and then the edges of the crack. The wood filler itself is going to crack. It's not going to look good. It's going to be impossible to color match. The nice thing with epoxy is you're actually adding an adhesive in there. So you're basically gluing that crack to itself so that as it moves, it's much less likely to create problems because you're basically gluing it back together, which is why I like to do it that way. And then you can add sawdust if you want to help color match. So if it was me, I'd probably dig the wood filler out and I'd redo it.
Are you making money right now? It just it's like,
well, I think all these people that paid for Venmo, it's like all showing
we're going
up.
to the distillery too, so they're all paying. Yeah. Should you put your Venmo right here and just say, here, if you want to pay me, here we go. We can always count on John from Lincoln Street to show up to these public things.
Oh, yeah.
All right, we giving some more stuff away?
Sure, let's give something else away.
And then let's do a few questions here. Oh, no, we should do one of our favorite segments after this.
Oh, wait, we got a late arrival.
Maybe
he'll be the winner.
Just hold on to it and just pull it out.
Okay, put it in the pot. Give me another one of those Duluth things. Let's give another Duluth gift card
okay.
away.
Let's do another small one.
Okay.
Only $250.
$250 Duluth gift card is going to. I'm wearing Duluth underwear right now too, and it's very comfortable.
I am too.
Yeah. What color?
Maroon.
I'm wearing bright green.
Nice.
Yeah.
Yeah.
This got awkward.
Cool.
This
is what you get.
You want.
If you're here at the summit, you can see him later.
We're not even wearing pants, so they can really see it. Yeah. The Duluth gift card, $250, 028. Hey, Tony from Texas.
Hey, Tony.
He was just saying he needed new underwear.
He was. You can get a lot of underwear for $250.
Anybody else here have any questions?
Justin.
Not Donton.
What was your biggest aha moment? Yes, I'll do the repeating.
Okay.
He said, what was your biggest aha moment in woodworking? Is that right?
I think it's when I found an actually decent supplier of wood. Like anybody starting out in woodworking that knows nothing, I went to Home Depot and bought stuff off the rack and was trying to make fine furniture out of 2x4s and being really happy and impressed with myself and how it looked. And then a week later, it looked like garbage because it completely would shrink. I had this really cool idea, I thought, for a coffee table when I first started out. And it had this crazy 6-pointed star, and it was all separate pieces of wood that I glued up to make the star in the center. And then it had all these other pieces that fit around the star to make an octagon. And then it had these round pieces that went around the octagon to make this perfect circle. So it was like a circular coffee table. It's probably 50 or 60 pieces glued up. I made it out of 2x6s. I bought it at Home Depot. Nice. And I was so happy. I spent so much time getting it all perfect and together. And literally within 5 or 6 days of it being in the warm house, there were inch wide gaps in between all the pieces. It looked so bad. And then you do some research and you figure out about wood movement and moisture. And then I tracked down an actual like wood supplier locally that has kiln dried, climate controlled wood. And finding that, I was like, man, now I can build anything. It's amazing. Yeah.
Cool. I'm a lot more keen to do this when it's whiskey related, but it is time for Wet Stuff of the Week.
Oh, yeah.
Every week on our live stream, we try something wet.
Okay, we didn't have a good Wet Stuff of the Week because we just didn't plan
It sounds
very well.
bad.
So, but the hospitality crew here that got us breakfast,
Yeah.
they also
What is this?
put these cans of Coca-Cola back there. So I thought it would be fun to have a little Coke challenge.
Okay.
You can't look.
All
I'm
right.
going to pour these, and then you have to guess which one is Diet and which
That
one
one was
is
Diet.
Coke Zero.
That's Coke Zero.
Okay, stop. So I'm
Am I
going
right?
to pour
Am I right?
Diet in one of them. Okay.
That's not Diet. He's
And
pouring
then
Coke
I'm
Zero.
gonna
I know
pour
it.
Coke Zero in the other one.
Yeah, and now he's pouring Diet.
Okay.
Yeah.
And then you got to tell me which one is which.
If I know you well enough, you just mixed them together and they're the same.
No, I would not.
I don't know.
I did. Did I mix them together? No. Okay. So
Why were
taste
they
them.
laughing?
I remember which is which.
It's not that kind of Coke.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Are you a connoisseur of Coke?
Nothing worse than room temperature Coke. Couldn't
Oh.
even give me ice.
I don't like soda.
You
at
didn't
all,
wanna
to
give
be
me ice.
honest.
All right. Coke Zero, Diet Coke.
Oh, you got one of those right.
Are they both?
They were both.
They're
Diet
both Diet Coke.
Ah.
I knew that there's
But I
always
didn't
an
mix them
angle.
together.
There's always an angle.
Yeah, that is not
Could you
nearly
use
as
some
exciting
ice?
as we
Because
do
this is disgusting.
when we do it with whiskey. Is
Yeah.
this mine?
Let me taste it and see. No, it's yours. Mine's right here.
it's got
Let's
cream in it. That's not mine.
well, you know what? That was my that's where it went. I lost my coffee earlier and it's there, but then I had to make another one because I lost it and realized that it's right there.
And how's the spoon carving coming? You got a spoon yet?
You want to come?
You've done that just in the time we're talking?
Come show this thing off.
Wow,
Come
let's see it. Show the people your spoon. Wow.
Look at this.
What kind of wood is that?
Can you tell by the smell?
That's cherry.
That's correct.
Wow.
Oh yeah. Nice.
No.
Tastes like a
not.
cherry.
Smell like cherry. Not cherry.
All right, let's get on to YouTube here and answer questions. So these
Okay.
people don't think that we're ignoring them. Okay, it's time for YouTube questions. Questions. Oh, maybe Ann can answer this one appropriately because I don't know if Jason would have the right answer. Will you let Jason try to answer it?
Okay, well, what is the question?
Your face is a
Yes, I know, I
microphone.
did that.
Okay,
Oh.
I was
great.
trying to be
This is
mysterious.
from G Hunter. What tips do you have for using a spoke shave?
Oh,
I tend to get a lot of chatter. Tend to get a lot of chatter when he uses a spoke shave.
Okay, so here's the thing. With the spoke shave, most people use it like an ice cream scoop like this. That is not correct.
No.
What we want to do is we want to be fancy like the Queen of England, and we keep our pinkies up and we slowly, like we ride the front part of the spoke shave up against the wood like this, and we slowly lower it down until it starts making the cut that we would like it to make. And then we're basically like teetering on that balance point between the front of the spoke shave and the blade that's protruding there. And we skew the blade so it makes a nice cut. Skew and slice makes everything nice. And
By skew, you
then
mean an angle.
at an angle.
Yeah.
Yes, which I could, like that.
Mhm.
And then you also, instead of just continuing to scoop down lower and lower and lower, you want to then release. So it's like you start high, end high. So you go along the wood, you start high, you rotate it down until it's making the size shaving you want it to make. And then as you leave, you feather it out that way, which will help you to not have a bunch of hard stops at the end of your cut.
Wow.
All right.
Way to go.
All right, we got a question from.
Wait, hold
we
on.
got-
I want to follow up Ann's thing by just saying
Mhm.
that's exactly what I would have said. And Ann is awesome. If you're not subscribed to Ann's YouTube channel, she's got a great YouTube channel. She has her own Patreon. She does you do classes and stuff, right? Yeah. So she's got a website. Definitely go check out everything Ann related. All you people online.
Ann of all trades.
Trades.com.
Everything Ann related.com.
And she does Fluffy Butt Friday on her OnlyFans. No. It's all animals, people. Oh, we got another one. Should we do another giveaway?
Yeah, let's do another giveaway. Oh, we got a
okay.
We got a $50 Bits and Bits gift card.
Okay, we'll do a gift card.
Gift paper.
To Bits and Bits.
Not really a card. $50. $50.
029. Oh,
yeah. John, nice. All right.
Don't lose that. Can they just use that on the internet? Is that how it works? It's got
it's got a code. Yep.
Okay.
Got a code.
There you go.
Just go on there and type in that little code. Okay. Grayson would like to know. He's 14 years old.
Hey, Grayson.
New into woodworkings. Got some live edge boards that need milled up.
Mm-hmm.
Is sending them to a vacuum kiln a good route to go to get them dry without cracking?
No.
Okay. So
you just air dry them.
If you're patient, let them air dry. It'll be much better, says Ann. If you're impatient and send them to
anytime you
kiln,
speed up the drying process,
yeah,
you expose the likelihood of cracking to be a lot higher. Regardless of whether you're going to do that or you're just going to let them dry by themselves. If the ends aren't coated to some extent with wax or paint, doing that can also slow down the release of moisture and help prevent cracking. You're always going to get a little cracking. But then also, if you're going to let them dry yourself, make sure that you're stacking and stickering them. Lots of people think this is simply just for airflow, but it's also the weight of how they're stacked will help keep them from cupping as they dry too. So all stuff to think about. Put a strap around them to keep them tight. That's the sound that it makes.
What was that? Okay, cool. Question in the room. What do we got?
Sofian.
All right, so
Like my accent when I said that.
Sofian.
Okay.
So I built these large drawers, and I used these undermount slides on it. And I found that when I opened them, they're not very stable. Like they're kind of a little bit shaky. Kind of thing.
Yeah.
I saw Keith Johnson at some point had the same problem, and so like he went and he got these stabilizers. It was a whole ordeal to put them.
Mm-hmm.
Any other advice in terms of what kind of other hardware can you use so that I don't have this kind of weird effect?
Yes.
Okay, so he's got.
Okay.
This is my job. He's got large drawers.
Not Duluth drawers, like actual drawers.
With undermount drawer slides. The size of the drawer is making it a little unstable.
Mm-hmm.
And he says Keith Johnson had some issue and put a little stabilizer in there.
Mm-hmm.
And then I forgot the rest.
Yeah. So this is an issue that happens if you use, I use the Bloom undermount drawer slides, but any undermount drawer slides, if you get too wide, there does start to be this wobble back and forth.
Like
so
what would you say is too wide to where you start seeing wobble?
Anything over 2 feet, I think you start to kind of get there.
Okay.
There's a couple things you can do. A is switch out. You have to switch out the whole underslide hardware if you're going to add the stabilizer, I think. Because basically it's this clip-on thing that goes onto the slides, and then there's a stabilizer rod that connects the two. So basically it just ensures that both slides are opening in unison at the same time, and that gets rid of that racking back and forth. That's option number one. Option number two is that you leave them and you're okay with the fact that they will wiggle, but only if you manipulate them as like you're pulling one side out or the other side at the same time. If you choose a hardware that's mounted directly in the center of the drawer, you're probably never going to notice that there is that movement because you're pulling it straight from the center. So it's naturally all going to come out at the same time. The place you'll see the biggest problem is if you have wide drawers and you have like 2 knobs on them, because most people don't grab onto both knobs at the same time. They'll want to grab onto the one knob, and then that's just going to pull it sideways. So if you want to eliminate it altogether, you're going to have to add some sort of stabilizer rod on there.
Okay.
Unfortunately.
All right. Roger Pearson Jr. says, recently got a joiner and realized a limitation that he'd never heard about before.
Okay.
After a number of passes, the board develops a taper.
Oh,
do you know of a good rule of thumb as to how many passes is too many on one edge if alternating the direction?
This is
helps
all,
or what?
it's just kind of going to depend on the shape of the board when you start putting it through the joiner. There are some boards that are so bowed in the middle or twisted that you're just never going to be able to join them and get them straight. Because if you here,
Are we doing a whiteboard?
do a whiteboard thing.
We're gonna do the white. Oh,
See.
I got you. No, I got it.
Andrew trees all over this thing. So basically, if you have a board like this, and the way that a joiner works is, here's the blade from the joiner. Here, that's a joiner blade. And as you push it through, it's going to trim off a little bit of this. And the reason that that works on a joiner is because you have a reference surface here that's slightly lower than your blade. And then you have a reference surface here that's the exact same height as your blade. So as you push this through, it's going to be cut to that exact same height as your blade, and it's going to start to slowly get rid of any bow in here. The problem is that if your board is too bowed, that's like an extreme.
I would love to see a board look like that. If you bought a banana,
the problem is to get rid of this
literally
bow,
looks like a banana.
You have to come up to the furthest point from the tips here. So if you draw a straight line around here, you're going to have to get rid of all that material in order to get that bow out. And then the problem there is that that's going to make this section here really skinny. So if you want 3/4 of an inch, and this was 3/4 of an inch to start with, well, 3/4 of an inch is right there. I mean, you're going to have like that much board left to work with if you start with like an 8-foot long board.
Mm-hmm.
So there's no real rule of thumb, except that when you're picking your wood out from the lumber store, there's two things I always look for. Is the board bowed, and is the board twisted?
Mm-hmm.
You can deal with bowed boards to a certain extent. Twisted boards are much harder to deal with and right. So I always, if I can avoid it, don't buy twisted boards. They're a lot harder to deal with. Depending on the application, bowed boards, you can kind of straighten them out if they're going to be held in tension. But planing them or joining them, you're going to lose a lot of material to get them perfect. Does that make any sense?
Cupped boards.
So cup boards, it's the same principle as what I just drew up there. It's just the opposite direction. I mean, if you look at that drawing and think of that as the end of the board, it's the same thing. To get to that straight two parallel lines, the amount of material you're going to have to remove just becomes greater and greater the more drastic that cup is. Yeah, I mean, I'm sure there's probably situations and tricks you could do to like re-wet boards and put weights on them and stuff like that, but who's got time for that? I don't want to deal with that. I mean, especially when I was doing client work, I don't have time to go buy lumber that I'm going to have to spend days or weeks fixing before I can actually start using it. I want wood that I can use right away. So the best thing you can do is just don't leave it to your lumber store to go get a bunch of stuff off the rack and bring it to you. Request that you can go and pick it out yourself. Spend some time. I mean, I've literally spent hours in the lumber store before, like going through every single board and picking it out and pulling everything off the rack. And they don't get mad at you because they're used to that. I mean, it's a pretty normal thing. So spend the time, pick out good lumber to start with. Yes.
You can taper a board by putting too much pressure on one side.
That is true. Also, if your bed on your joiner is like, let's say, a 4-foot bed, and you have a board that is bowed this way, and so when you start it, the bow is actually curving down below the bed of the joiner. As you pull that other end up onto the joiner, it's going to raise up, and it's basically going to just push the front end of your board into the blade more, and that's going to also create a taper. So
yeah. Okay.
You've also bought from woodworker sorts, where obviously you're not going in back and picking the boards you want. Do you find that you still get as good a board that way, or is it kind of crapshoot?
Woodworker Source, is that like a website?
Yeah, it's supposed to.
You can ship.
Oh yeah, I've never personally bought from there. No, yeah, I do know that that's becoming more of a popular thing, is to buy wood online. The thing that always makes me nervous with that is, like, where I live in Oregon, we live in a pretty consistent climate as far as humidity goes from winter to summer. We never have these huge humidity swings. Getting lumber shipped from someplace like Arizona that's super, super dry to the Northwest that does have higher humidity than Arizona, I'm always concerned about what is that wood going to do once it arrives in my shop. It might be beautiful when they put it in the box. Is it going to stay that way? I don't know.
Mm-hmm. This is, I always love the answer to this question. This is from Sadiq Melahoff.
Sadiq Melahoff.
Do you know Grabovitsky? This wasn't the question I thought I was going to read, but it's I'm really excited about this answer. And do you know about Grabovitsky? Speaking of spoon carving.
The Russian composer?
Grabovitsky. Anybody know? Has anybody heard of Grabovitsky? Okay. That wasn't the question I was intending to read. It was the one next to it. Someone's looking to upgrade their camera. What would you recommend?
An iPhone 15. Is that the one we have?
Yeah. Oh, 15 Pro.
Yeah. We literally have taught classes about this before. That, in my opinion, you just don't need a fancy camera. I think it's a waste of time, and you can do anything you want on an iPhone. Like, we got so many messages from people. I don't know if you guys saw on Instagram, we just did a Duluth ad for pants where I climb in the planer and then I come out and it's just a pair of pants on the other side. Everyone's like, oh, did you do that in After Effects or what program? We literally did that on our iPhone in a $9 app called InShot. It's super easy. You can do anything you want on
Movie Magic nowadays. Super easy. Yeah. Someone wants you to explain your shirt.
My shirt?
Yeah.
It says I'm releasing my inhibitions. I'm feeling the rain on my skin.
I feel like that might be a song.
It's a song.
Can you sing it?
It's got a
better yet, can you play it on the tin whistle? There we go.
That's got to be in that song at some point, right?
Absolutely.
Yeah. My wife bought me this shirt because she wants me to release my inhibitions more.
Kara, do you have something to say?
Take that as you want.
All right, questions from the room? Anybody? You already had one, Chris.
Chris, yeah, no, I'm just joking.
Put
Chris,
your hand
go
down.
ahead. He can ask another question.
He can have one.
Just get back to the last question. I have about 40 feet of walnut drying for acclimating.
Yeah.
In my shop right now that I got from Woodworker's Source. I live in Delaware. It was snowing like crazy when we left, so I'm happy to report back about how that.
All right, Chris says he bought a bunch of wood from Woodworker's Source, and he'll let us know.
How about anybody out there? Have you guys had experience with Woodworker's Source?
Wood online? Where's the foreman?
Oh, the foreman. All right. Someone wanted to know where the foreman is.
The foreman is at his grandmother's house right now. He had school, so couldn't bring him. He would have loved to come, though. Maybe next year we'll bring the foreman. He can be up here with us, a.k.a. my son, if you don't know who the foreman is.
Yeah. Okay. We have one over here.
I did buy some wood from them and stipulated that I needed to be straight. And they wrote back and said, all right, we'll go through the wood piles and make sure it is straight. So they actually did respond, and I got, it was like $3,000 of wood and it was in this wood.
So he bought wood online and he wanted it to be straight, and it came straight.
But my question was back to your when you're putting down a joiner, assuming you have a joiner that's long enough to hold the board, I always have the bow at the top and the ends coming down.
Mm-hmm.
I never know if that's the right way to do it or not.
So the other problem you're going to run into with a bow, let's say that you do have on your joiner, your bed is long enough to fit the whole board on there bowed. With the bow angled down, you're basically also creating a spring. So if you put too much pressure in the center of that board, it's not going to take a lot of pressure to flare those ends out and push that center down. So you got to be really careful when you're pushing that across the blade, because if you're changing the amount of pressure you put on that board every pass you're going through the joiner, you're going to get different results every time. And you might feel like you got it all the way flat, but that's only because you're pushing down. And then when you release the pressure, it's going to change. Flipping it over the other way isn't going to necessarily make it better, because now instead of a spring, you have kind of a teeter-totter. And so you can rock it one way or the other. So again, that goes back to, if you can get rid of the problem when you're picking your lumber out, that's the best case scenario.
straighten that edge before you put it on there with your table saw or track saw, so that when you get it there,
I mean, if the bow is along like the straight edge of the board, sure, you could cut it on the track saw. If you're doing like edge joining, if you're doing face joining, obviously you can't cut that with the track saw. The other thing I always recommend you do if you're going to mill up wood is look at the project you're building. If you got 12-foot boards and the longest board in the piece that you're making is 4 feet long, cut your boards down before you mill them up. It's going to be so much easier. I've gone to people's shops and they're trying to run 12-foot boards through their 4-foot joiner, and they don't need that long of boards. And I'm like, you're just giving yourself a headache. So cut them down as small as you can get away with, and that'll also help a lot, especially with a bowed board, because you can get pretty straight boards out of a bowed board if you're cutting it down. Ah, yes. Yeah. Planers and joiners are completely different. All planer is going to do is change the thickness of your board. It's not going to manipulate whether that board is bowed or twisted, because it's just going to get squeezed as it goes through the planer, and it'll be thinner, but it's going to come out bowed and twisted on the other side. So don't substitute a planer for a joiner.
Okay.
Yeah, so you can make what's called a planer sled. This works specifically for like twisted boards. It works really well. And basically you're using the flatness of the sled as your reference surface. So you put the piece on there, and then, you do have to shim it so it's not going to rock as it goes through the planer. And lots of times people will shim it or use hot glue to glue it in one position. And then when you put it through the planer, it'll just take off like opposite ends to get rid of the twist. That does work. It just takes a long time. So.
Okay. Brian Rich has a question here on YouTube. Are drum sanders worth the money to purchase? He has a 12.5 DeWalt planer and a 6-inch joiner. Wondering if it's worth the money to also include a drum sander.
It completely, in my opinion, it completely depends on what kind of stuff you're making. Drum sanders are awesome for certain things. If you're doing a lot of cabinetry and you're building a lot of cabinet doors, they're great for sending all your cabinet doors through and making sure everything's nice. If you're doing a lot of veneer work, planers have limitations. You're only going to be able to go down to a certain thickness. And with drum sanders, you can go down to a 32nd of an inch if you need to, depending on how you're going to do it. So yes, drum sanders are awesome if you need a drum sander. I first bought my drum sander because I was delusional and I thought, oh, it's a Powermatic, it's a 2244, so it's open-ended. So technically, you can run something 44 inches through it by going through 22 inches and then flipping it around and doing the other side. I was like, I'm going to build these giant tabletops, and then I can just stick them through the drum sander and I'll never have to sand again. I had to sand way more because of all the drum sander marks I made in the tabletop and basically destroyed it trying to do that. So it doesn't really work very well for that, but it definitely has its place.
Okay.
So I'm going to ask about something Ann was doing.
Okay.
A couple of minutes ago, she was carving a bowl with a spoon, and she had an interesting looking carving knife. And it kind of reminded me, how do you sharpen something like that?
This thing?
So the question is, how do you sharpen this thing? How do you sharpen that?
Use a file?
Given a whole... Oh.
Just kidding.
Okay.
So you would just take... So this one is actually really interesting because it has it has an inside bevel. Oh yeah, here, let me just show you in front of the microphone.
Let's just, there you go.
So there's actually 2 registration points on the inside of this. So actually, if you put a piece of sandpaper, if you keep things sharp enough, you only ever have to use like honing paste, except for when you have to regrind or you drop it or nick it or something. But here, I can literally just put the dowel and feel when it's registering on those 2 points, and then I just literally just turn away like this. Except I would actually do it much closer to my body, so I had more control. But this is literally how I do it.
Are you only sanding from the inside?
Yep. And then the outside is polished. So this is sharpened from the inside.
Interesting.
What's the technical name of that?
This is called a spoon carving scorp. They're not actually very common. You have to have them custom made, but
Scorp. Wow.
She's getting more
the
things
next
out.
winner gets this scorp.
Yes.
But this is like a more traditional hook.
Oh, ice cream scoop.
Oh,
And
that's
it's
cool.
done
I've seen that.
It's the exact same thing. It's like there's 2 registration points here, and you sharpen it from the inside. Commercially available ones usually have it on the outside, and so then actually those ones are not as easy to sharpen as accurately, but like you can actually sharpen outside bevel things on a flat surface.
Got it. That was a great question.
That was a great question. We had one in the back.
Yes.
Alex,
Yes.
is that you? Okay.
12 years ago, I built a dining room table out of white oak,
12 years ago, he made a dining room table out of white oak.
and it's now developed a crack in the middle.
It's now developed a crack in the middle.
Do a butterfly to sort of stop that where it's
He wants
at.
to use
The
butterflies.
question is, when's the best time to do it? Like this time of the year where it's cold,
Ooh.
right out, the cracks are the biggest, or wait till the summer when it starts to close back up, just sort of fix it a little bit.
When is the best time to fix that?
Well, my opinion on butterflies is never, because they're ugly.
Moths are way cooler.
Yeah, definitely use a moth. No, I'm just joking. I've never inserted a butterfly into anything, but I would imagine, Anne might know, probably when the crack is the biggest and it's dried out the most. Oh, when it's closed the most is what she would say.
It's the triangles thing. It's the same idea as a dovetail. You want those triangles to be placed in it when the wood is like the most swollen, so that then as the wood dries, it'll put apart. That said, though, you would want, depending on how big the crack is, you want your butterfly to be more exaggerated the bigger the crack, and you need it to cover more surface area, because the other possibility of that is then you're adding more tension to the wood, and so you could very likely just have the wood also split around the butterfly as well if you're not careful.
Can you summarize that in one sentence?
Basically, she said,
Just
she
for the-
sounded
for
like
our live
Beaker
people.
from the Muppets is what I heard. She said, put the butterfly in when it's summertime and the crack is closer together. I think it's the same principle as like if you're doing timber framing on a house and you're using green wood, as the wood dries, the joint gets tighter, right? So you're basically the same principle. You're putting it in there when it's closer together, and then as it dries, it's going to tighten, not loosen, versus if you do it the other way.
Maybe we should ask Sean Kirsch what he would do with white oak.
Probably.
He's on here.
Yeah.
What would you do, Sean?
He's like, I don't touch
Blow
no
it up?
white oak.
Yeah. You
Yeah.
know, that's all an act. I really think he likes white
I
oak.
think he does like white oak.
I think he's got like kind of a love for it, but he
I think
doesn't
he's
want
got
it
a closet
to,
in his house, and like you
Just
push the clothes aside, and there's just little bits of white oak and
Just-
like candles lit,
sawdust all over
He's
the
like
floor.
bowing to the white
yes.
oak gods.
Hey, should we do a giveaway?
Oh yeah,
Let's do another giveaway. We got a couple more, and then we got another 10 minutes or so on
we got
here.
a 1/2-inch compact flush trim bit. Let's see what this looks like. Ooh, this one. It's like, I think it's the same one we just gave away. Yeah, 1/4-inch shank.
It is. Yep. It's 2 of those.
Okay, and this is going to 017. Hey,
nice.
Justin.
That table's hot right now.
Yeah, we got a lot
2
of
winners.
winners from that
Okay.
table right there.
We're going to give another imaginary pair of isotunes away.
Okay.
Yep. Free 1.0s. Not the 2.0s, the 1.0s. 1.0s are just as,
And
good.
because
They're good.
you on the internet can't win while we do these giveaways, it'd be a great time to go to patreon.com/bourbonmoth and sign up for Patreon so that you could be here next time.
Absolutely.
All right, free pair of isotunes goes to
Free pair of isotunes freeze.
046.
Hey!
Hey!
Nice. There we go.
All right,
We got a
just
winner.
come. We
Come-
have nothing to give you.
Come up
but,
and get your imaginary
just
pair.
Come talk to Craig after the fact,
Yep.
and he'll give
Here,
you a pair.
here you go.
There you go.
Here, there.
All right.
There you go. It's imaginary. There you go. You got it.
I'll have to learn that one. I got to practice. You can't put me on a spot like that. Jeez.
Okay. How about Rudolph the Red-Nosed Reindeer? Go.
What's the first note?
Rudolph. Rudolph. Rudolph and had a very shiny nose.
Hey,
Come on,
that's
everybody.
pretty good.
And if you
Okay,
ever
we're not
saw-
turning this into a sing-along. Okay.
so close. That's my dream someday. We got what? Did somebody say something? You have a question, Sean?
No.
No. Okay.
Okay.
No. Okay.
Oh, we got Danielle's got a question. Before I got a domino. So before, the first joinery I would do was actual mortise and tenons. And I do them a couple different ways. Some of them I hand cut, some of them I did on the dado stack, some of them I use the router, just depending on the piece of furniture. Sometimes I would do like through tenons that I'd pin, or wedges, which I like doing those. But then when I was doing a lot of client work, most clients just didn't want that look. Everyone wants really boring furniture when it comes to client stuff. So I needed a faster way to do things. Then I went from that to doweling jig, which is a very, very cheap version of a domino joiner and takes a lot longer. Probably just as strong when you think about it. But the one I had, basically I used a hand drill, and you'd have to make all these little tick marks. And then I got the domino joiner, and I stopped doing any sort of real woodworking at all.
Nice. If you're like me, I like to use multiple techniques of joinery in my builds.
Yeah.
Yeah. No, let's not get into that.
We won't get into that.
No. Okay. This is going to be a really helpful question, I think, for a lot of people out there. Frozen Magma Pool has this question. When you are designing in SketchUp, how do you create your cut list and materials list?
It's really funny because I know, because multiple people have told me this, that there is a way in SketchUp to like click a button and it'll give you a cut list. But I just rotate the thing around and use the tape measure, and then I write it on a piece of paper. That's how I do it.
Nice.
I don't know how to actually click the buttons. I don't even really know how to use SketchUp that well, to be honest. So
Let's go.
See, that just seems way too. What I do is I just buy like 10 extra sheets of plywood and I just start cutting. I know it's bad, but I'm never like, how many pieces can I fit on? I mean, I do a little bit, but not as much as I should. Yeah.
How many sheets did we end up using in the closet build?
So in the closet, we used 21 sheets of 4x8 birch plywood. That includes 3/4 inch and 1/4 inch for the carcasses. We used 5 sheets of 1/4 inch MDF for panels in the drawer faces and cabinet doors. We used, I think, 10 sheets of 5x5 Baltic birch for drawer boxes.
And then all the poplar.
But we're well over like 30 some sheets of plywood for 2 closets. Is stupid.
It's real stupid.
How much? What?
Not a lot.
Yeah, we actually did pretty good.
Not a lot of leftover.
Because we didn't buy enough to begin with. I think I bought 7 sheets of plywood to begin with, and I was like, this is plenty. And then we bought more, and I was like, that's plenty. And then we bought more. So yeah, we kept having to buy more and more.
Yeah. Are you still planning on building out the small workshop in the garage?
Yes. We are still planning on doing that. My wife has made a stipulation when it comes to this, which is the right thing to do. She puts me on my place sometimes. I've spent the last 10 plus years remodeling our house, and I've got it completely done, except for the laundry room, because there's a barn door there and you never see it. So why would we need to do that? But she said before
do you know where your laundry room is in your house?
Yeah. I don't go in there.
Oh, yeah,
okay. I know where it is.
But you know where it is. Okay.
We have a magic laundry room too, because you put the clothes down the laundry chute, and then they wind up in your closet. It's crazy. It's amazing.
Yeah.
But our laundry room is bright pink. I wish I could say that we bought the house and it looked that way, but I actually picked out that color when we bought the house. I was like, how cool would it be to have a pink laundry room?
It's so ugly.
It is really ugly.
And it's like.
But the short story is, in the studio that we're going to take over to expand the wood shop, which used to be the printing studio, there's a washer and dryer out there. And in order to redo the laundry room, we're going to have to get rid of the washer and dryer for a couple weeks so that we can do the laundry room. And so before we take over the studio and make our wood shop bigger, my wife wants us to do the laundry room so that we can still use the washer and dryer in the studio while the laundry room is being redone. So we're not without a washer and dryer for a few weeks. See, it all makes sense. So we have to get the laundry room done, and then we can move the shop into the garage, and then we can take apart the studio and redo the shop, all the while we're remodeling the house 2 hours away.
Yeah. Oh, and then don't forget about the Airstream.
And then I forgot about the Airstream. Yeah.
That still needs to get finished.
Mark's got a question.
Speaking of all these projects you guys have got lined up for this year, and Craig's favorite joinery method.
Ooh, when's the next Craig build coming down the pipes? Probably
summer,
June or so. So I'm doing something that I have not done my entire life. I'm really bad about taking time off. And especially since I started YouTube, I mean, we have been pedal to the metal, almost doing a video a week for going on 3 years now. And I told Craig and my wife, I said, I would really like to take the full month of July off this year and just have some time off. So we're going to do that. That doesn't mean.
And then I said, sweet, where are we going?
And I said, well, you have to stay here and make videos while I'm gone. So you'll probably see a Craig build during that. We're going to still try and put videos out in July. We're just going to try and do them ahead of time so there's not a huge lag. But we're probably going to have to do a Craig build in there somewhere.
There we go. In my garage?
Yeah.
My garage is full of like bikes and camping stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah. No tools. I got rid of all my tools. So I don't know if you guys know this, but I moved in next door. I don't know why. Probably. I don't know why.
Why you moved in next door?
Yeah. But I'm now the next door neighbor. So when I moved in, Jason had given me a set of tools like 5 years ago because he's like, I don't need these anymore. It's like, sweet, I'll take them.
They were Ryobi. I didn't want them.
Yeah. So I was using them at home like a proud Ryobian. And then I moved next door. And I'm like, I don't need these anymore. I'm just going to walk across the yard. And now I find myself at night, I'm like, I need a tool. I don't want to walk to the shop. So I'm like, I wish I wouldn't have given those away. But, oh well, you live and learn.
You live and learn.
Happy birthday, Dad.
Yes, Cindy. Cindy's got a question for Ann.
Question for Ann.
Sorry, I'm not letting you do your job. If you're removing 300 pounds of skin.
Material.
What
do you do with all of this stuff?
If you remove 300 pounds of material in order to make a chair, she's talking about from a tree because Ann's like a real woodworker. She'll cut down a tree and she'll remove all the material. What do you do with that material? And Ann cares so much about the environment and nature, she burns it all.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. So that was the answer to the question. Oh. All right. Any other questions online, or should we give some more stuff away?
Ah.
Oh.
Do you want to come pick out another prize? You want a bourbon moth hat or a shirt or something instead? We got one guy's giving his isotunes back because he already has a bunch because he loves them so much.
What size shirt are you? We'll ask you in front of everybody, so it's.
He's a small.
Oh, all we have is large. Here, tell you what. You come grab this ticket because I have the matching pair right here. I'm gonna put this back in, so you still have a ticket in there, and then we'll give the isotunes to somebody else. Okay?
Oh wait, we do have a Liquid Courage extra large.
It's too late. I already put his ticket in here.
Oh.
So.
Just kidding.
It would mess everything up. All right, the free pair of isotunes goes to.
Were these the 1.0s? Yeah, these right.
Something.
Yeah.
059.
059.
Oh, Fantine.
Oh, Fantine. Do you have isotunes? Yeah. Do you have a pair of isotunes?
Do you want more isotunes?
Do you have a pair? You have a bunch of isotunes?
They're really good to wear around your wife.
See, they're so good. She's in the room, Jason.
What?
No. Kara.
So wait, do you want isotunes? No.
Okay. You want something else?
Well, we can't even give this stuff away.
No. The thing is, everybody's got them.
Does anybody not have isotunes? All right, we're hoping for one of your numbers. We're going to keep drawing until somebody doesn't have a pair of isotunes. 038. Yeah. Okay. Nice. Well, just yeah. Okay.
All right, there you go.
All right. Well, let's give something else away too.
Okay. Yeah.
Let's give another gift card away. This one.
We also have these two.
We have a Duluth gift card. This one's for $500.
It's the big mamma jamma whamma.
That's a lot of underwear.
So all y'all that haven't won yet.
And that is going to 0, 2, 1. Hey, Nick, $500 in Duluth gear. Cool.
Let's do one more question.
One more question, then we got to end the live stream so that Ann can do her talk on hand tools, and then we have to go to a distillery tour eventually.
We
got so much fun stuff planned. Then we got dinner later. Again, this would be a great time if you're not signed up for Patreon to go to patreon.com/bourbonmoth and sign up. Fantine's got a question.
Fantine's got a question. Actually, Fantine, can you write it in the chat, please? Can you just write it down? Since you're also on
what's
the
the
chat.
question, Fantine? Okay. Uh-huh. Yeah.
Oh, yeah. He's talking about
Fantine's
cracks,
asking about cracks, but I know because we're talking to Fantine, he's not talking about cracks in wood. He's talking about bottom cracks. Now, Fantine was made famous in one of our treehouse videos because he stopped by to help us, and we had to blur out half the video because, well, Brazilians aren't known for their backsides.
And it's not like we could have reshot these takes either. It was like one and done. And Fantine just let it
I would say
out.
a belt, but also Duluth's underwear's got full coverage briefs.
Yeah,
this would be nice. Yeah, we can. They now should be referred to as Fantines. Maybe get with somebody else and have them install a butterfly.
Nice.
Put those together.
But just make sure that you attach it when they're really tight and close. Yeah.
All right, one more real question.
Oh, one more real question.
Yeah.
Oh, sorry. What is the bare minimum equipment that you would need to start your own workshop?
Ooh.
That's a good one.
I mean, you can start with pretty little. I mean, a knife probably, depending on what you want to make. I mean, Ann's over here using a knife to carve a spoon. So you can start woodworking with a pocket knife and start whittling stuff. Obviously, the more advanced you get, the more stuff you're going to get. For a basic wood shop, I always tell people the number one tool I would get before anything else is a table saw. If you're talking about power tools, you can use a table saw to do almost everything you need to do. Lots of people say a chop saw, but you can use a table saw as a chop saw. That's not that hard. Planers are nice. Joiners are nice. You can keep adding on there.
Mm-hmm.
But table saw is a good place to start.
Okay. Oh,
we got more stuff away.
Yep.
We have two of these or one of these? One of these is for $100. Okay, we're going to do a $50 gift card to Bits and Bits. 2044. Pam!
Oh. Pam, come on, Pam.
Gonna make her walk all the way down here.
All right, Royce Klein. So I got to get through our Patreon questions because I told our patrons that if you're over here on Patreon, like they can submit them and we'll get to them. Royce Klein, attaching a baseboard to a wall with no stud or metal stud. What is the best way to attach them?
Liquid nails.
Okay. All right.
Yeah, if there's nothing to nail into, I mean, you're not going to add drywall anchors to hook in your baseboard. So I would say use some liquid nails and just glue that sucker on there.
Okay. Dave asks, what's the cabinet building guideline for depth? Say I wanted 21-inch drawers. Would you add a standard additional depth?
So traditional like kitchen cabinets are usually 24 inches, and those are accommodating 21-inch drawer slides. So when you order drawer slides, whether they're side mount or under mount, typically the 21, the length that you're getting, refers to the size box you're going to have to make for the drawer slides. It's not referring to the actual length of the drawer slide. The drawer slide's typically a 1/2 inch to 3/4 of an inch longer, depending on what brand you're using. Bloom is 1/2 inch longer. It's metric, but it's roughly 1/2 inch longer. And then you have to decide, are you doing overlay drawer faces? Or are you doing inset drawer faces? Obviously, if you're doing inset, you need more depth. So for a kitchen, traditionally 24 inches gives you plenty of room for using 21-inch slides for depth.
Okay. And I think the question that most people want to know is, did you get an elk this year?
What's the next question? No, I'm a horrible elk hunter, you guys. This is the 3rd or 4th year I've been bow hunting and I haven't been able to get an elk.
I want to know it from a reliable source. How many years has it been?
I'm not
so
lying
long
about
she
the number
can't
of years.
remember.
Yeah.
Oh, 3 archery.
Yeah.
Okay,
In
alright.
Oregon.
And then you also gave up on the rifle. So you're also
She
just
says
a
I
bad
gave up on the rifle too early because I didn't get anything with a rifle either.
Apparently,
Yeah.
you're just not a really good hunter. Hey.
It'll happen one of these days. You guys try and go out in the woods with a bow and bring back an elk, all right? It's difficult. Especially when you talk to them. They sound like this. Like that.
They do. That's pretty good.
I know.
That's pretty good.
Yeah, I take that with me. Maybe that's why I'm not getting
that might be
anything.
it. Okay.
I don't know.
Thanks for tuning in this morning, everybody.
Mhm.
Great questions all around.
Yeah.
You guys aren't going anywhere.
No, these people are staying here. And if you want to
Yeah.
be here next time, go to patreon.com/bourbonmoth and, maybe sign up. And we do this every week for you patrons.
Wow. Yeah.
We don't do giveaways every week, though.
No.
This is. Let's do 2 more giveaways before we get off.
Okay.
Here.
You got
still got
that.
a lot of stuff to give away.
And
Right?
yeah, your tin whistle and
We're not giving away the tin
gift
whistle.
card. Oh, okay.
We are giving away a $100 gift card to Bits and Bits to 065. Hey!
Oh, you're excited about it.
There you are. Then
It's a
let's give
3-pack?
away a 3-pack of 3M Extract to 052. Hey, Evan. Then let's give away more Portland bitters. Are we doing this as a set?
One
One at a time.
One at a time.
We're giving away some of Cindy's best bitters. Have I mentioned that Cindy's pretty bitter? It never gets old. 011.
That
All right, Matt.
dude, that joke gets bitter and bitter every time.
Yeah. And then also getting bitters is 063. Yeah. And then a Don't Cut Your Fingers Off banner is going.
Which, by the way, we're working on getting these an
Back on the
updated
website.
version back in the shop.
Yeah.
So
But right
Stay
now,
tuned.
you can only win them this way. 0. Oh, here, take your bitters.
yeah.
Get off the stage. No, I'm just joking. 020. 020. Over here. Yeah. We need to get one of those cannons.
Yeah.
Another banner.
Oh, look at we got 2.
047. Yeah, Rob.
Yeah.
Anything else, or are we signing off?
We can. I mean, they can. You guys can watch the giveaway.
You can watch the
leave.
giveaway. We just want to make you
Yeah.
super jealous.
Yeah.
And if you want to be part of this, we'll just go to
patreon.com/bourbonmoth.
Sign up.
Yeah.
We don't even make these anymore. This is one of our old school hats,
Yeah.
but it was a classic, a favorite. 032. All right.
All right. This was our all-time bestseller
This
hat
is a
ever
really
in
good
history
one.
of
Yeah,
hats.
we sold a lot of these. 050. Right there.
Sorry, you get what you get, and
To
you don't throw a
John.
fit
Oh,
about the
nice.
sizes. Extra large, liquid
yeah.
death. That's currently
And if
available on the
it's
website.
not your size, you can just give it to a friend. It makes a great Christmas present.
Yeah,
Unless they're an alcoholic, that'd be a horrible Christmas
that's
present. 024. All right, Mike.
Mike. Large woodwork is good work.
Oh, that's true. Woodwork is good work. 059.
Bad team.
Sorry.
Jason just threw that all the way outside.
I'm too strong.
The classic bourbon moth.
022. Oh, Lori.
Lori.
Do you have anything else?
I'm sure I can find something else.
He's gonna find something else. No?
That might be it. That might be it, ladies and gents.
All right.
It's
We gotta have
envelope.
something to give away. No, here, we'll give away. This is okay. Whoever wins this, you gotta keep it in your mind and you gotta hold on to it for a while because it's gonna be a while. I'm just saying. But how about a maximum 4-night stay at the Bourbon B&B when it's all done? But you have to obviously pay for airfare. You got to get out there. I'm not going to stay in your bed
free
with you
lodging.
or anything weird like that.
Yeah.
But you can come stay at the house when it's done. Free lodging.
Maximum 4 nights.
Maximum 4-night stay. This
That's
could
a
be
really
2 years
good-
down the road. You just got to remember.
Do they have to keep their Patreon membership live from now
No,
until?
it's
Okay.
fine. As long as they won right now, we won't do that. 058. Hey!
Craig!
Yeah. Well, we'll just remember. Okay, it's all recorded. You can come stay. All right. Perfect.
Yeah.
All right, guys, we're gonna log off. We're gonna learn
thank
about.
you.
Anne's almost done with her spoon at this point. So we'll do another live stream actually Monday, right?
I think we're back
Yeah,
Monday,
we're back
right?
to Monday, but that's one's only for our patrons. So if you want to come be on that live stream, go sign up for Patreon.
And this is where we say, see you later, everybody. It was great talking to you because we have a good time together. All right. Bye.